I'll tell you guys, I'm in a position where like I used to be really like kind of confused about sales. Like if you just kind of look at my background, I used to work for the Ottawa Senators.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I was a sales rep for them. And I was like, man, it'd be cool to start my career in sports. And I was like all jazzed up.
Yeah.
And then I went into the role and I realized, I'm like, man, I don't know anything about selling. Like I'm literally just making it up. And I didn't have much of a script or a process. I was just hoping that people would buy because we had a great product. And I was like way too dependent on the product and the price. And what would happen is like, they would be like, oh, it's too much money, despite us having one of the most reasonable prices in the whole league. And then people would get sold on this idea like, oh, it's too much money. And we would like argue about the product. They'd be like, oh, the product's no good. My product, I mean, you guys sell something tangible. I sold a bunch of people skating around on the ice. And so we'd get into this whole thing about, price of the product and oh my God, and I'd get unsold on it. And then when I got on training every day and I got good information, and the first thing it does, and I want you guys to write this down, is it switches your mindset. So I just want to let you guys know like the impact of training is something that I didn't really I still probably don't fully even understand how much of an impact it has on me. Because when you look at what's the first step in the sales process?
Agree.
Yeah. Is that it?
See, and this is, I get this from clients all the time. They're like, oh yeah, we don't need to do the training anymore. We did the training. And then it's like, what's the first rule of selling? So like that's why it's repetition, reinforce, repetition. So the first step in the sales process is attitude. It's attitude. It's treating everyone like a millionaire and like they can buy. You ever see someone come in and you're just like, oh my God, like I'm gonna have to sell. This person doesn't seem like a buyer. I know they're gonna give me the objection. I know they're gonna tell me, man, it's like not the right color. It's like, it's too much money. Right? You guys ever get that? Raise your hand if you've ever felt like that in your customer. Yeah? Okay. And then what happens is it's kind of, the sales process is kind of like dominoes, right? So what comes after the greeting? Or sorry, I gave you the answer. What comes after attitude?
The greeting.
Yeah. And just like a simplified process, right? And what happens after you greet? What's the next step?
Oh, it's a good test, yeah. Pop quiz.
You guys are training on the sales process now. Are you guys still in the first videos or?
Previously we went up to like the intermediate certificate. It's been a while ago.
Yeah.
So what we're all gonna do is jump back on that 30 videos today.
Yeah. So just so you guys know, like it's okay. Like I've had to go through the sales process videos like every 4 to 6 months for the last like 5 years, just to get reminded.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's why it's such a fallacy, meaning like it's just such a false thing for people to think like I did the training. You know what I mean? Like think about a doctor who basically got out of university and then he's like, oh, I did the classes. I don't need to stay up to date on like modern medicine, what's happening in new studies and new, like, can you imagine that? And then salespeople are like, oh, I did that. So it's like, or the athlete, oh, I went to practice last month. I watched game film, So like, for me, like I'm always going back to the sales process is the most important thing, especially if who's ever been like, man, I wish my closing rate was higher. Raise your hand if you've, I wish I was closing some more deals.
That way,
Yeah. So when you're looking at it, what leads to the close? What's everything that happens before the close?
The whole sales process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if your closing rate's low, and it's like a process, meaning like it's an assembly line, it's a bunch of dominoes. If any one of those parts in the process is out, is not working, or is not like where it should be, it's not a 10 out of 10, maybe it's a 6 out of 10. You think that might affect the close?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, exactly. It's like baking a cake. It's like, man, I did steps, 3 through 10 perfectly. It's like, well, you messed up step 2. It's not gonna end up good. So you got greet, and then you got what? What's after the greeting? Just naturally, what happens? Hey, how's it going? Good to see you.
Like fact finding?
Fact finding, yeah, good.
Sweet.
And this is something you guys should know, like how many times did you brush your teeth?
2.
See, you just like knew it. See how it's like, it's not even, like that's how well you need to know the sales process. Because if you have to think, like that's the mistake that salespeople make. I want you guys to really pay attention to this right here, because this is important. People think that training, and they're like, they listen to, let's say Grant Cardone do a word track, and they're like, oh my God, I'm worried that it's gonna make me sound salesy. No, what makes you sound salesy is you not knowing the next step or what to do, and then you going, and then it's awkward. That's what makes you sound salesy. So the answer is not less training, the answer is more training. And the answer is train so much to the point where you know it like the back of your hand, and you could just be you. Like that's when things really clicked for me. Like I was struggling, like I was not making really any good money for probably like 2-3 years. And then it just clicked for me. Like I started to know the stuff so well that like people could just experience Ryan when they were with me, either in person, on the phone, wherever it was. And that's where people click. And if you've ever dealt with a salesperson, you could tell they're reading a script. Like, what happens? What do you do?
Walk away.
Yeah, you walk away, you shut off. You're like, dude, forget it.
Yeah.
So that's why when I train cold callers or warm callers, or like even when you guys get a call, the moment that they feel like you're like, or like reading a script or salesy, like they're immediately either they're gonna shut off, or they're gonna hammer you on price. So the next time, like think about tomorrow, day after, next week, when you're like, oh man, stupid buyer, they're always hung up on price. Is that their fault or yours?
It's Alan's fault.
Probably mine.
Yeah. So you guys want to write this down. The true sales professional takes responsibility for everything. Everything's my fault. And that doesn't just have to be in your sales career. It could be for every aspect of your life. Your spouse is mad at you. Like, damn, stupid spouse. Who made the spouse mad? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Tristan knows it. You know. So
Yeah, this one's usually Tristan.
Yeah.
Oh man, unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. So like, you know, maybe you missed a step in the process. You forgot to put the buyer at ease in the greeting, you know? Like this is where salespeople get, like, as soon as you, and catch each other, oh man, that buyer, like, and I hear it at the highest level. Like, I've heard millionaires. Like, I was in a room with a couple guys, they had Lambos, and like, they'd make like millions of dollars. And then they're like, oh man, that customer, man, that guy's stupid anyway. And I'm like, dude, like, you're not, like, you didn't make him feel comfortable with you, so then he acted like that. Like, why is it his fault? You know what I mean? Does Tom Brady or, you know, Patrick Mahomes, do they say like, oh man, stupid defense is their fault? Like, no, like, he's like, I didn't throw the ball well. So that's the level of thinking that you guys need to have. And even if it is their fault, you still need to look at it as your fault. Because if it's their fault, do you have control? No.
Yes. No.
No.
Perhaps.
If, like, let's say,
Let's play mind games.
yeah, like let's say like it's their fault. There's nothing I could do about it. I can't control it. There's nothing I could do about it. Is that like a good mentality to have?
No, that sucks.
So the second you say, oh, it's them, then that's like,
You lose your power.
exactly.
Yeah.
And this isn't some woo-woo stuff. It's just like common sense. It's like, if it's their fault, then how can I actually do anything to change about it? And if you guys have ever had this thought of like I remember when I was like, I think I was maybe 9 years old or 10 years old or something like that. And as a kid, I was just really bad with girls. But I remember thinking, because I'd watched like James Bond movies, I was like, there's gotta be some exact combination of words that I could use to get this girl to talk to me. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like of all the words and sentences and things that exist on this planet, there has to be some sort of thing that could be done that would actually get a result. So like, if you've ever thought, oh man, like couldn't close that, nothing could have closed that guy. Really? Of all the people on the planet, if you put 7 billion people, they each had their shot at Mr. Johnson. You think one of them couldn't have figured out an exact way to put him at ease, ask the right questions, and sell him some blinds? So what you guys should do is like write this down, is become obsessed with figuring that out with every customer, and know that they're all buyers. And knowing that they're all buyers, when I'm like, what does a football player do after he throws an interception?
I'm the wrong person to ask you guys.
That means he sucks and he fails.
Okay.
He like brushes it off, maybe takes responsibility.
Yeah. He tries to brush it off, but what's the best way to brush something off? Is to, well, I'm gonna like let's say, okay, let me use a better example. Let's say you messed up with your kid, like you didn't set a good example. You're gonna think, next time, how can I do it better, right?
Right.
So if you guys ever watch NFL or CFL, my hometown team won the Holy Grail championship of football, and I didn't even watch it because I'm more of an NFL fan as a Canadian. But yeah, if you ever watch football, the quarterback throws an interception, and then they immediately go to the sideline and they take the tablet and they watch the play so that they could look at what they did wrong so they don't repeat it again. So part of full responsibility is you guys want to write this down. You want to train daily.
No.
You want to role play daily. And this is the thing that people mess up with role play, is they don't role play the things they need to work on. So if I messed up with Mr. Johnson on my greeting, what am I going to role play tomorrow?
The greeting.
Yeah. If I am struggling and I keep hearing from the customer, it's just the wrong style, it's the wrong color. Am I going to role play the cold call? No, I'm going to role play the things.
The color.
And yeah. So like when you guys role play, so here's an example. So let's say we're role playing this tomorrow morning. It's 8 a.m.
Okay.
So I'm going to be the coach or the customer. And before I say, oh, hey man, I'm not interested, I'm going to go, oh, hey man, what are you working on? What are you working on as a salesperson? What objections are you getting? What are you hearing all the time? What are you trying to get better at?
Usually either price or my spouse isn't here.
Good. So I'm not going to be like, hey, I left my dog in the car and, I got to rush. Yeah. No, so I'm going to say like, hey, listen, it's too much money. And then as a coach, when I role play, I'm going to be as realistic as possible. And this is where like there's degrees of how well you coach someone. And when you coach someone, you actually learn as much or more than when you're the student or the salesperson. Yeah. So like you need to put on your, like, win the Oscar, like really act it properly so that they could benefit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like if you guys get customers like, you know what, this is a little bit too much money, I'm not gonna do a role play with him and be like, I hate your price. Like, you know what I mean? It's not realistic. And sometimes people make role play silly. The whole point of role play isn't like, we're doing role play, sales is role play. No. It's get better. Like get great at your craft. You know what I mean? So like, that's one of the things I wanted to encourage you guys to do, is just like get freaking amazing at your craft. Become legendary and just like go all in, study, books, role play. Like you should know Card on You so well that like, Clay's like asking like, boom, what's the first rule of selling? I know it. Like, what's the sales process? Like Grant says, know it backwards and forwards. And like in the training where there's questions like, write it out and memorize it backwards and forwards. Have you done this? Yes or no? Okay, who's ever just clicked yes just to get to the next thing? Raise your hand. Okay, I'll admit it. We've all done it. Yeah, exactly. But have you actually done that? You know what I mean? And like, it's fine, you know, you're all forgiven for not, we've all done it. But just like go, like the reason he's doing that is for, it's for a reason. It's for you to get truly great. So I should know it, and I should know it not just in a memorized way, but in a like, hey, like I actually truly like can visualize the steps with the customer.
What are you doing right now based on you not being in the main office in Arizona? Are you doing like Zoom training every morning? Are you guys on like a Zoom call and then jumping jacks and all that whole thing?
Yeah, we literally role play in Zoom every
So
single
you
morning.
didn't make it to Cardone, but he did last year, once or twice.
For sure once. Yeah.
The point is like, even if you know, the meeting is like, something happened, something catastrophic to the meeting happened, like still grab a teammate and be like, hey, let's role play anyway. Like just, or even if all your, like everyone got food poisoning but you, just role play by yourself. You know what to role play by yourself?
In the mirror. Role play by yourself.
Yeah, you go, listen, it's a lot of money. Go get your phone recorder, record yourself. Hey sir, totally understand it's a lot of money, and I wouldn't expect you to buy this unless you were able to make sense of it. Now let me ask you, aside from money, is there any other reason that you wouldn't move forward with this? Stop, listen to it. That sounded good, okay. No reason, it's just, you know, actually maybe my spouse. Oh, okay, got it, it's your spouse. Well, you know, at the end of the day, stop, listen back. Oh, I stumbled, okay, let me do that again.
Oh well.
It's actually, you guys should role play and self role play. Like you guys should, so the third thing, so I got you guys to write down is train daily, role play daily, and then you should also listen to recordings of yourself. So when's the last time you guys videotaped yourselves with a customer? I'm not suggesting you do that, but like or you videotaped yourselves at all or recorded yourselves at all and listened to how you sounded.
It's been a while.
I've never recorded when I'm in a customer's home, like recording.
Yeah, no. I
Responses.
yeah, I wouldn't say actually do that, but role play or
I
sorry.
would like to if I can get away with it, so I can hear how I sound in my customer's house. But I think
Yeah,
like
like
it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
Body camera in there.
Yeah.
I got a full GoPro on or something.
I think yeah.
Leanne's there with like a boom mic. Oh, don't mind her.
I think there's actually a
light.
door-to-door software. I was talking to this guy a few months ago where like it's an app that actually records all the conversations and there's some sort of consent at the beginning. But like I would always record your, like I always tell this to the new guys that I coach. I'm like, we're role playing. I'm like, are you recording this? He's like, no. I'm like, why are you not recording? Like, this is such a great, like, not only are we role playing and you could hear yourself, but the coaching I'm giving you, you could listen back to.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know about you guys, but like the way I study best, and even like Brandon Dawson talked about this in his, and I'm reading his book, and he talked about this with his mentor, is he set up a session with his mentor, and he set up his video camera, and he filmed the 5-hour session with his mentor, and he would watch it back over, and like that's how I learn, and especially when it comes to listening to yourself, like you think you sound good, and then you watch yourself, and you're like, oh no, don't do that, you know.
Yeah.
And so the reason most people don't do it is because it's so cringe and they can't face up to how they sound or how they look. And so they always just sound and look like that. Yeah, it is.
You can watch all those YouTube videos you did. We still have a bunch of YouTube videos, so there was a bunch of us doing.
Oh,
like,
here in the
responses
showroom?
here. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, you
Oh
know,
yeah, that's when I first started. I was probably terrible compared to
No,
now.
it was like 3-4 months in. You should have been.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I guarantee you, like I always listen to calls. I always find something that I did weird, or like, you know, I'll record. I do this on social media a lot, where like I don't care about social media at all, so I don't bother doing second takes and making it perfect. So I'll just like think of something and then I'll record it and then I'll send it out to the followers. And because it's just so on the spot, I'll say a lot, and then I hear it back and I'm like, wow. Okay, that's how I sound. And so you fix it, right? So like I would just do those 3 things, like train daily, get on Cardone, but do it with a purpose. Like pause the video. What is Grant saying? Oh, it sounds like he's selling something that isn't what we sell. This doesn't apply. Like The moment where you feel like you're discarding it, that's the moment to pause and be like, how does this apply?
Mm-hmm.
Because like, what do you want him to like spoon feed you and be like, hey, you know, Alan, this is your exact situation and I'm talking to you, Alan.
I would
Like
love
he's
that.
not gonna do that, you know what I mean?
But I would like it.
Would you?
Can you call? Can you make that?
Can you make that?
Would you? Well, actually, Grant
Using
does do one-on-ones. It's
Okay.
it's $100,000. It's $100,000 for
Okay.
4 sessions.
Oh, it's affordable.
Yeah,
we
so
get
it's-
4 sessions. It's only 25 each.
yeah,
It's-
25
it's a
each.
bargain.
Yeah.
Please just pitch in 25, you know, no biggie.
And so yeah, like
Like what,
ultimately,
2 months.
yeah, man, it's something where like you think you'd want that, but then it's like any trainer, any outside person doesn't know your scenario as well as you do. It's better for you to think with it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you come up with it, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like how I got really great is because I listened to Grant, and then I'm like, it sounds like he's selling, like, you know, I don't know, insurance or car or like something that doesn't apply. But the bones and the structure is it's proven like across hundreds of industries and thousands of businesses. So let me take what he's saying, let me take the bones and the structure of it, and then let me take how I would say it, my personality, my sense of humor, while still not altering the essence of it. And that's also a mistake that salespeople do, is they're like, oh yeah, I'll do it with my style, and I'll teach them like, let's say, you know, the greeting on the cold call. It's like, hey John, Ryan here, ABC Company. I know I caught you in the middle of something, so I'll keep this quick. And they're like, oh, I got it. Let me use my style. Hey John, you know, do you got 60 seconds? It's like, no, that's not what I said to do at all. You know, and it's like they're like, oh, but that works too. It's like, well, does it? Because they could just say, no, I don't. And then what do you do? I guess get hung up on. Yeah, exactly. You
You're
know?
asking like a closed-ended question, like a yes or no question, right?
Yeah, and that's just one small example of like I'm telling you guys to like apply it to your industry, apply it to your style, but don't change the essence. Like when Grant says put the buyer at ease, like don't skip that step. Don't completely alter that step.
That's such an underrated step too. I found myself, because I like analyze after I don't make a sale, because I get kind of frustrated sometimes. I'm like, I almost
Yeah.
got everybody. But like, so what I do is I look and I was like, what did I not do? And I kind of jump into it sometimes. Where like, I forget to just put the buyer at ease, maybe build some like common ground rapport, kind of something like that. Sometimes I just jump right into there and be like, I just want to get a sale. Then I forget, like, no, you have to do like that first initial step, like make them comfortable and trust you. And then what you say is more relevant, right?
Yep, yeah, exactly.
I find myself skipping that.
So this is perfect. This is great. Like I'm glad you're sharing that, because when you watch Card on You now and Grant says like skipping, like there's a specific part in the video and even in the questions. Sometimes the questions almost are like a doubling of the video, because it's like reminders and notes. And he talks about like when you skip steps, it actually makes it longer or shorter, the process. Longer, yeah. So you have like what you did, you guys should do while you're watching the video is pause it, think with it, associate it to your day-to-day career. He's like, yeah, it sounds like he's selling a car and you're picturing a car dealership. No, picture this. Yeah. And then be like, how can, like, if you watch the video and then nothing in what you do daily changes, you just watched the video, but you didn't like
Absorb it.
yeah, you didn't like watch it with a purpose. And even on days like I don't always feel like getting up. I don't always feel like going to the gym. I don't always feel like watching my cardio training. Sometimes I'm lazy. I'd rather go home and watch Netflix than, you know, go on course and study for 3 hours a night. You know what I mean? But like I do those things because I know it makes me better. So even on days where you're like, oh man, I know I got to do this because it's mandatory as part of my company. I'm gonna get punished if I don't. But while you're doing it, at least get something out of the time you're putting in. You know what I mean? It's like the people that go to the gym and then they're just on their phone. It's like, dude, you're here. Why not just bang it out in 30 minutes, go hard and get the hell out instead of being there for 3 hours and doing all this stuff and wasting time.
Yeah.
You know?
Make the most of it
Yeah.
while you're there. Yeah.
So, questions or thoughts or takeaways from this, guys?
I like the idea of like recording yourself and like see how you sound, see if there's anything that you do that or say that maybe you want to like adjust or tweak. I like the recording yourself thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't do that.
When's the last time? This is one of the things I did to get really great. Is like, first of all, this is a big tip that I give to people who really want to be successful. Like, want to make a lot of money, want an amazing life. You really want to get to the next level. Maybe you want to be a manager. And also, a side tip to this, not to go on a tangent, but you guys want to write this down, is like, be motivated by a bigger purpose and your goals. So write this down. Be motivated by a bigger purpose and your goals. Like, you need to sit down with your spouse, you need to sit down with yourself and be like, why am I doing this every day? But because if you don't have that, you're not going to put in the extra work and the time, and you're not going to, like, what's the point of being great if you don't have a purpose for being great? You know what I mean? Like, what happens if I go from 8 to 15 to 20 grand or whatever it is, right? What in my life changes? What can I do with my family? Where could we go? And like, that should be front of mind. You should be talking about that. You should be writing it down, create a dream board, whatever works for you. Like, I'll go on Canva and I'll put a bunch of pictures and I'll put it on there. Some people do Scotch tape, but I like to change it all the time because I'm always thinking of new ideas. So I have like a dream board and I write out my goals. I'm always thinking with it. Because
Do you have like a physical copy of that? Sorry to interject. Do you have like a physical copy of that, or just like on your phone?
no,
or on
I put it on the desktop of my computer.
like
So
your background.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm always looking at it, you
Like
know,
that.
because on a Wednesday afternoon when the customer hangs up or the customer falls out and I'm just like, oh my God, I hate my life. I hate this. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like reminded of why I'm doing it every day. And anything worth doing is gonna suck at some point, probably a lot. And that's why it's like giving you something to put in that extra work and motivation. So back to what I was saying is like, what I would do is I would work weekends. Like, that's like nights and weekends is where you get ahead of all the other people in your industry because they're just working 9 to 5. So what I would do is I would work weekends. I'd go on a Saturday, Sunday, and I'd spend like 15 hours just working out all my word tracks.
Holy cow.
Like, I would just think of every possible, I would think of the greeting, the phone call, I would think of and I would think of every single scenario that could happen on anything, and I would write out all the word tracks. And I wouldn't come up with it, if I didn't know it on my own or I couldn't come up with it, I would just go to Grant. You know what I mean? And so I would collect this massive, I called it the master Word doc. Some of my friends, like, they know about this. It's like a 192 page document of every single possible thing. And so you could tell me like, yeah, we need to look at this next quarter. And like, I had an answer, drilled, practiced, rehearsed, like ready to go. And because it killed me when someone said, if someone was on a phone call or someone was in person with me and was like, you know, the blah, 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 objection. And I'm like, you know what? I couldn't really handle it that well. I was coming up with it on the spot. I didn't have something useful for him. Like, I could just go, oh, woe is me, it's their fault, they're cheap, blah, 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 and then live my life like that. Or I could write it down. Like you were saying, like, Alan, when you got like, oh, I'll always be hard on myself, that's good, right?
Yeah.
So after a sales presentation, what you should do is, if you didn't close them, or if you did close them, look at what went right, look at what went wrong, and write down all the objections. Like, Grant calls it an objection log. And then do something with it, like actually write out and practice and drill all those things so that the next time you're like, I'm never gonna let this happen to me again. And even if they didn't buy, at least I gave it my best, what's that expression, my best foot, put my best foot forward, right?
Yeah, like when you said take responsibility for everything, I was thinking about that for like life, like for everything.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah. And there's levels to that, by the way. There's levels to that. It goes even higher. Like Grant says everything, like he means everything.
Yeah, there's got that example of like, if
The
you
car.
get hit by another car.
Yeah.
If you get hit by another car and it was 100% their fault, you still take responsibility because you could have sped up and went around them. Or you could have
Yeah.
taken a different route.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Or you could have,
Like,
yeah,
you
could
happen-
really look at ways. You're like, okay, that car hit me and it was their fault, but I could have been observant and just been forward a little bit, or I
Yeah.
could have,
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And then
always something you do.
and then that becomes a whole deep spiritual sudden you pull it in, you know. It's like, whoa. And then you're like, wow, there's levels to this shit.
I like that.
You know? So like I believe everything happens because of me, but that's empowering.
Yeah.
So even when it doesn't happen because of me, well, actually, it did. It's weird. It's weird, right?
It's also like a mindset thing where like, because if you do that, then you're always, I hope I don't have a brain fart right now. I had a good thought right there. It's pretty much like, because if you think like that, then you feel like you have full control and power on your life. Instead of just letting things just happen, you're like, I can get that. I can do that. I can do that. That can happen.
Yeah.
Because I have the power of everything.
Yeah.
Like you feel like you're in control of your life.
And then you're
Instead of
controlling
just
your customer, which is great.
And you're controlling your customer,
And
right?
you're controlling the sales process.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like somebody that can control the sales process is inclusive of the customer because that's why they're there, but they're serving their customer primarily that way.
Yeah, but not in control of life, but
So yeah, exactly. And like that happens when you watch the videos and you train every day. Like you guys have a great setup here where like you have a business owner that actually cares enough about you that it's like, hey, I want to do that and put that mindset for my people every day. And you guys have like a great culture and these awards. It's like, go somewhere else. You'll see it's like, hey, I want to get better. Get back to work. Like that's what happened to me early in my career. Like I'll never forget that. It's like, hey, like I want to go to this seminar. I want to role play every day. Okay, work it out. You know, whatever. Just get back to work.
like you just feel like, okay, yeah, find a colleague and just talk about it.
Yeah, because that guy gave up. He blamed it on the customer. He never figured it out. He never put in the time, and he never got great. So he's like, well, I can't teach my people to get great. You know what I mean? So like, you guys, maybe for some of you that your goal is to get so freaking good that people are like, wow, what's Alan doing? Alan, can you teach me? Yeah, there you go. So like, you know, hey, like, can you teach me? And then you're helping others. Like that's a really rewarding thing, helping other people. So, yeah, guys, that's basically what I have for you today. What were your biggest takeaways from today?
We should start on that side of the room.
I think a lot of it's some stuff that I actually do already, like journaling what I can do differently. So I kind of like, I'm always having some kind of self-development, and then goal setting. Like that's something that I have, like I actually write it out and I have it and I put it in my room and I put it on my wall and stuff like that. So I actually have to see it every day when I get ready. And like probably like 80% of everything that I've started writing for my goals from last year, I've already accomplished. So
Oh, hell
it's
yeah.
just like moving
Nice.
towards it.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And also, and you could build on that, and
Mhm.
like you could what's called
And it
reversing.
changes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Goals change over time. 'Cause
Exactly.
you change. Like it's inevitable. Everyone changes with growth, right? Yeah.
Especially as you achieve.
Yeah. Exactly.
And your
100%.
abilities and your belief lid raises,
Mhm.
right? And you're just like, wow, like there's other things.
Yeah.
So like that's awesome. And then what you could do as well is, if you're not already, is you could reverse engineer your goals back to like, okay, so let's say I want to make 30 grand a month, or I want to
Mhm.
own a business.
Yeah.
Then like, you know, work that out with Clay. It'd be like, hey, this is where I want to go.
Mhm.
Reverse it. Okay, so that's 5 years. Where do I need to be by year 4, by year 3, by year 2, and then what should I be doing this year?
Yeah.
What is the
100%.
yeah, exactly. So takeaway, Tristan.
I gotta figure out a way to train daily. Like I need to find time to train daily. I used to practice stoicism. So I used to wake up early and admire the sun, which sucks in the winter
Yeah.
because there's no sun.
Yeah.
But I think that's actually just a good way to do it because you're supposed to sit there and get ready for the day. And as soon as I stop doing that, I feel like everything's just like spiraling. So I need to start doing that again. And then include Cardone at the end of my stoicism practice.
Yeah.
I can send you a picture of the sunrise from my place every morning.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wanna
because
see
you
today?
probably have a better
Do you
view.
want to see today?
Yes, I do actually.
It's actually beautiful.
And here's the you want the solution to that is if it's not in the calendar, it's not real. So just book a time.
Just put it in the calendar.
Yeah, but like book a time for Card on You and then the videos, and then book a time for role play if you guys don't already have that set.
We haven't done role play in a long time.
So you should book a specific time, a minimum of 15 minutes.
From my sunroom.
Nice.
Yeah.
Whereabouts are you?
Poco, Citadel. Just
Oh,
right by the
okay.
Fraser River.
She's
Okay.
right by the
Yeah.
I'm
gas
gonna put that on.
station.
I'm gonna put that on my goal board.
Yeah.
Sunsets, big sunsets.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's something
Right by,
to do.
I can see the river from my room.
Yeah, you guys should do that as a team. Like have, okay, so 8:15 to 8:30 every day, we role play, like without exception. You know what I mean? And this is the, like, people always come up with this, well, you know, like, we never find time because of customers. It's like, we'll do it before customers. Well, there's no time. It's like, well, then come in 15 minutes earlier. Like people find all those reasons why not to, like, and it doesn't make sense to me why you wouldn't spend 15 minutes to make the next 8 to 10 hours better. You're like, I have 8 to 10 hours to sell poorly, but I don't have 15 minutes to make myself great. Wait a minute. So are you making sense to yourself, or are you justifying to yourself? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like that you mentioned like the objection log, like create or write out like an objection log,
Mhm.
because I realize sometimes when I don't sell, I have like an Excel spreadsheet, so it's like green, 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 white, green, 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 white. I don't like these red anymore, but it's like the white or gray.
Mhm.
So then when I put that back in the whites or grays, I don't actually write the specific objection always,
Mhm.
but I should just like always 100% of the time write exactly why they did not buy, not just like needs to think about it, will get back to me tomorrow or something. I'd be like, what's the exact reason?
Yeah.
But like going into that, like how do you get past people who are like, yeah, that sounds great, can you email it to me? Like how would you respond to that?
In which context?
Let's
On
say
a,
if
on a
I'm
cold
I
call
just
or?
presented in the house, I'm like doing a in-home consultation and right at the end, and I feel like I found the right everything.
Mhm.
And then I'd say like, great, does that work for you? You know, like this is what the total is, and then they're like, all right, can you send me a copy of that? Does that get emailed to me? And I go, absolutely, it does. Is there any questions that you have? Like, what's the best way that you handle that?
Yeah.
Can
So
you just email it to me? Like,
Yes.
just email that to me.
so basically,
I'm
like,
rushing off. It's
yeah,
like, I
when-
know what's happening, but how do I get past that without being too aggressive with them?
yeah.
Yeah.
When's the last time you did the objections webinar in Cardinal?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like this
Good.
is good. I'll give you an idea, but like
Yeah.
anytime you're having a problem, like man, I can't handle this objection.
Yeah.
Like go in a card on you and solve that. And if you don't know where it is, like ask Clay, and if he doesn't know, ask me. Like just like full cause, full responsibility. Like I'm gonna solve this thing, right? So
Right.
like in the objections webinar, it's like you need to validate if the objection's real. So you agree, done. Always agree to the request for information.
Yeah.
Send that over to me.
What would
Done.
you say if someone's like, hey Ryan, like, can you just email that to me?
Yeah, done. Absolutely. Not only am I going to email it to you, but it's going to include options, price. It's going to have everything in it, and it'll be done right after we actually finish up here.
But then
No,
how are
no.
you closing that?
No.
No, I follow up. I'm like, but because it's just gonna be a bunch of stuff about the plans that you've probably never seen before. That's why I walk you through it, and then that way we can talk about everything that's outfitted on it and make sure it's correct for you. That way we can move forward knowing what you're purchasing. And then I never
Okay,
like
so you guys are
we're-
not going for in-house closes?
No, 100%. This is 100% closing. But
I-
I already said it before I actually walked them through. I'm like,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Then that way when they say like, hey, can you send it to me? I'm like, I already did. I already sent it to you. I'm just walking you through it so that you know what's going on. Because otherwise you're just going to look at it later and forget all the stuff we talked about. I want to make
Yeah.
sure there's 100% what we discussed today with you. It's got that fabric that you wanted, it's got
Yeah.
the control style that you wanted.
I see.
It's all set
I
up.
think we have a different style where you guys are thinking of like just being like, yeah, no problem, I'm gonna send it to you for sure. But I'm more like,
No,
I'm thinking like,
no,
how
I
can
already
close
sent
it,
it.
like,
They're gonna
right
want
now?
to see it. No, I'm
Yeah,
still
yeah.
closing it right now. Of course, I'm gonna deal with that objection. If that's the objection, that's easy because it's already done.
They're like, can you email
It's
it
already
to
in
me?
your box. You want to check and make sure you see it because you can look it up on your phone. And I'll walk you through on your phone instead.
I guess what my real question is like, how do you get past them not telling
I
you
know,
the
but you're
actual real objection?
No, that's why you like. Is what's holding you back from moving forward on this today? Because it's already in your inbox.
Like, oh, I just
Well,
can't
let me
think
let
about
me
it.
let me clear this
I
up.
just can't
So
think about it.
just to
When I
just to
talk to a
like
friend or something. It's like, about what?
just to kind of clear this up,
Yeah.
you're basically agreeing to the request, not to be like, yeah, I'll send it. Have a good day. Bye. Like, no, it's just to like put them at ease so you can continue forward with the sales cycle.
Right.
And then Grant in the objections webinar, I'd highly recommend like watch that like this week. Go deep dive on that
Okay.
because he says first you agree, then you isolate. Hey, got it. Aside from just looking it over, is there any other reason, any other concerns? No, it's just that. Okay, got it.
Yeah, because that's usually what happens. I'm like, sounds good. I can definitely email it to you. I'm gonna email it to you right now. But like, other than emailing it to you, like, do you have any specific questions? Is there anything else? Does it make sense? Do you feel like it's the right product?
Yeah,
And they're like, oh yeah, it seems good. You just have to, talk it over and stuff. I was like,
yeah.
sounds good. Like, if you guys were to talk over, like, something, maybe I'm like trying to get it right there.
Yeah. So
Like,
this
sounds
is
good. If you were to talk over, like, is there any specific questions you have? Oh no, we just need to talk to like my wife or my daughter or something. It's like, yeah, sounds good. Like when you do talk to them, like, is there any kind of questions that you have?
Yeah.
Like, do you think there's any questions
We'll be
that
back.
do you think they would have any questions that I can help answer while I'm here right now instead of emailing it back?
all this confusion. Imagine if Grant was here right now
Yeah.
and spent 2.5 hours just explaining the whole way to handle it. You
Mhm.
think you'd find value from that?
Yeah.
That's in card on you.
Okay.
So like I could spend 2.5 hours. This is like I could get so deep into this because there's so many aspects to it.
Mm-hmm.
One is handling objections. That's in the webinar, and then the other is if you got to the end of your pitch, and then they're like, yeah, appreciate it. Just leave it with me. It's likely that you maybe missed something in the sales process. You didn't get the true DBM. You didn't get something. You didn't put them at ease, and that's why it's an assembly line, right? Like if you don't have your attitude right,
Mm-hmm.
then you're not going to come in with the enthusiastic greeting. They're going to be put off. If you don't do the greeting where you put them at ease, they're not going to want to share their true DBM. Who knows what a DBM is?
Dominant buying motive.
Yeah, I did the training. It's like DBM. I don't know, right?
Yeah,
so
that's what I
so
said.
dominant buying motive. It's their
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
problem they're trying to solve. The
Yeah, yeah.
why are they buying, right? And without that, are you able to present it properly? You know, without finding in the fact find how they did it last time, are you able to like hit on that properly? No, so you present the wrong thing, you don't present it properly. And then you do your trial close, hey, like, what do you like best? And they're like, seems good. Okay, got it. Like, what do you see yourself? Oh, just, you know, I need to just think it over. And then you're like, I'm gonna practice my objection handles on think it over. It's like, no, you just missed something in the that's why the training I put you guys on is process right now, because it's like you want to start at the beginning of the assembly line, fix that, get that down right. Make sure you guys role play it, like role play the entire process. Like pretend you're in a home, do the whole thing start to finish. Like I would consider doing like coming in. This is what I did. I would come in on a Saturday, come in on a Sunday, where there's no distractions, and just practice, write it on word tracks, role play, drill it out, mock it up. Like maybe just come up and do like, you know, order a bunch of pizza, make it a big thing, and do like a training day, like a NFL combine draft day, like where it's just like, yeah, where it's just like, dude, we're just gonna role play the whole thing. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
if you guys go in and you do this process in people's homes every day, but you've never actually drilled and role played it
Yeah.
and worked it out and looked at the best practices, and that's why you have all these questions, which is great. But you know it's going to feel even greater is when you answer all the questions, and that's what I make it your mission, Alan, and for you guys too. Like just make it your mission to just have all these questions answered. And anytime you're leaving us, you didn't make a sale, and you're like, like don't go, oh, forget it. Like be like, what can I do different? Let's look at it. Let's train. Let's ask Grant. Let's
Yeah.
you know. So
This
like.
reminds me of like when I first started in sales. I remember like I used to be like really frustrated and really hard, and I've tried to kind of level myself out where I'm like, okay, it's fine, next, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's been good, but there was something special about when I first started where I did get frustrated, and I was like, how come they didn't buy? And I was so like,
Yeah.
trying to like focus on like how they didn't buy next time, how can I make them buy?
Yeah.
Right? So I think I need to get back to maybe having a balance of what I have now versus that, because that was really good. It was like a hunger for like needing to know,
Mhm.
right? How
Yeah.
do I answer their questions like better? and
Yeah.
stuff. So it's like it's like striving to become better at answering their questions and like knowing how to handle all objections.
Yeah. And like this is why like when I do meetings like this, like I just push people back into the training, because like sales is so deep. The amount of video watching and card on you and practice, it's days, like not hours, like days of like I could sit here for 10 days straight and still have stuff to talk about on sales. So
Mhm.
people are always like, oh Ryan, I need more of your direct support, and I'm like, I love that. And yeah, like I'm great, but I'm saying the same things Grant's saying, and I can't say it enough. And even if I spent all day for 5 days straight, it's better to get in little pieces, and it's better to get it directly from the source. So like that's why I'm just constantly telling people like just do what I did, and just listen to Grant, write it out, drill it, train it, role play it every single day. And like more than the money, also it's just the feeling of like I could competently do something. Like if you've ever watched like a chef and he's just like and you're just like that guy's. You just love watching it, right? Because
Yeah.
he's so smooth. Like, wouldn't you like to be like that with your profession?
Mm-hmm.
You know how you threw that to me, and it's like, oh well, we just need to like look it over. Hey, absolutely, sir. I think it's a great decision, and honestly, you should look it over. Now, when you're looking it over, what do you feel like is the biggest? And it's just like boom, like I could just throw these things out. Like that's the level that you got to get to. You know what I mean?
I know one thing you do is like you like agree hard. You're like absolutely.
Yeah.
You're not just like, yep, I can email it to you. You go like, absolutely, I'm definitely gonna email it to you. I'm also gonna send you the warranty. I'm gonna send you, all the information. You're gonna see everything about the blinds, but then you go and then you go back there.
And that like
That's
yeah,
it.
absolutely. I'm gonna send it to you. Like that moment, customer shuts off. So you just spent and like for anyone in any industry, you just spent 50 minutes, an hour and a half, 45 minutes with the customer. You spent all that time just to say one thing the wrong way and they shut off and you lose your sale.
Mm-hmm.
And you do that 4 times a day, so you waste like 6 hours. But people won't, I don't have time to find 15 minutes to role play, and I don't have a half an hour to watch videos and role play. But I have 6 hours to waste because I couldn't say the thing right. And that's what just kills me with people. I'm like, why are you looking at this backwards? You know what I mean? So anyway, I've beaten the dead horse. I want you guys to get into your day. Any other questions or thoughts for me?
Just thank
Everybody's
you.
everybody has access to Picardone, right? So going forward, I do want to make sure that we're holding ourselves accountable